Hi, Kenneth, and thanks for having a meeting with me today. Really nice to see you. And I thought maybe we could start with you telling us who you are and a bit about who you work for and what your role is.
Sure. Hi, Laura. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Today I work as head of consulting and competence in Visma software in Norway, and my main area is that I work with the big accounting offices in Norway, how to develop them and how they're going to use our software and all kinds of software to better their routines in the modern age, because there's so much happening, especially in the accounting area, regarding with robotics, AI, and everything we do around there.
Yeah, I could start by asking you some questions around the whole purchase to pay process. Could you first of all explain a little bit what this involves? I mean, I think the title is self-explanatory, it's purchase to pay, but I mean, there's obviously a lot that goes in between that. So could you give us some insight into why this is important at all as a process?
Yeah, well, as a process in general, it's purchase to pay is basically the process from, like you said, from a company buy something until they have paid the invoice. And this is something that all businesses go through in one way or another. Everybody buys something, and that process can be very can be a hassle for many industries, especially if they have an accountant on the side that doesn't work inside their own company. They have an accounting office. That thing has to be set up with the accountant. It has to be set up internally, and it's a long process, a hassle, and it's a pain. And it often ends up with actually invoices having to be reminded, stuff like that, because of delays in the process, which, in my opinion, should be 100% automated.
So what's actually involved in the process? You know, is it necessary, for example, to raise a purchase order? Is that how it starts? Or what are the touch points? If you could maybe explain the process of how it goes through a system.
Yes. So the regular, or the way it's supposed to do, is you create a purchase order. You can go onto your supplier's website, order it from there. You can create the order inside your own ERP system. Doesn't matter, basically. You do that where you want, but then you have a purchase order that needs to be inside the system. Right. When that happens, you get a feedback from your supplier that tells you about when you can expect the delivery, order confirmation, stuff like that, which is basically just information for your own company on when you can expect the delivery.
Yeah.
Next step is actually when you receive your order, and if you have a stock and you put it there, you do handle those things. If it's other non-stock related items, you don't have to do that, but that is the process to receive the order. Next process is receiving the invoice, and this is where things kind of stops up in many situations.
Right.
The invoice is received, and it's received by the guy who put in the order.
Right.
And then they have to put that into an approval system, basically get the invoice approved. And then after that, it has to go over to the payment department, which in many cases handles the payments, which then pays it. And when you go into the accounting office industry, basically the guy who approves is inside the customers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So he's out there, while the person who pays the bill most likely is working inside the accounting office.
Right.
And this is where you get a lot of issues, not a lot of issues, but a lot of delays. Things takes too long, and the process isn't as fluid as it should be.
Okay, no, I understand that, and I guess that the consequence of that is efficiency issue, but also a cost issue as well. Because I'm guessing that when people are having to go back and forth and kind of chase around with bits of paper or orders that are midway through a system, it can be quite a lengthy process. Is there a way of making it easier, to make it more streamlined?
Yes, luckily there is, and we have. I'll get into that, because the next, like you said, it's also a cost issue.
Yeah.
The delays cost reminders, costs money, and also all the manual handling actually takes a lot of time. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And these things are basically, as soon as the order is put in, it actually is approved. Right? There shouldn't be a second approval of the invoice, as long as the invoice actually matches the order you put in. So the way it should be done is basically that you put your order in through the system, like I said, no matter what kind of system you put it through, doesn't matter. Put the order in. Then when the invoice is received, it should be automatically matched. And in worst case, if the invoice doesn't match, it should be sent automatically on flow to the person who made the purchase.
Right.
And this should be electronically. The invoice should be received electronically by the accounting office. It should not be received by the customer. The accounting office needs to receive the invoice, and it needs to be received electronically so that the whole process can be automated. As soon as they receive it on a PDF or receive it on a paper, it's going to be manual work. You have to handle it, and then when you have to handle it, it costs money.
Yeah. So do you have any figures, like how much it costs, for example, to process an invoice or an order an invoice manually, kind of thing?
Yeah, an invoice handling takes 10 minutes. So
10
every paper or PDF takes 10 minutes.
Okay, and I can imagine then in a fairly sort of small, medium-sized company where you've got hundreds of invoices, purchase invoices flowing through every month, then you're looking at several days' work plus just to process the purchase invoices, which is, you know, extremely costly. So great that obviously that there's a lot of focus on improving that whole process.